here we are, FMC speed, VNAV path, chilling 370. Top of descent in 340 miles. Fuel predicted at Krakow 2.8, which is good. We've got Frankfurt Han, which is a base for the company. Gonna fly over the main Frankfurt airport, EDDF, and then continuing more or less eastbound towards the Czech Republic then, and then across to the south of Poland. Take an update on the weather in Krakow. It was a little bit marginal as well earlier on. I was showing a little bit of low cloud, a little bit of mist. So hopefully it's improving a little bit. Destination station weather 5. Nope. Oh, nice. Warsaw, yeah. Warsaw is a cool place. Cool place to fly to. Try again. Here we are. So kind of easterly wind, scattered at 800, broken at 1400, 8 degrees 1016. Okay, so it's not exactly wonderful. At least it's 10 kilometers. Yeah, I should be alright. And 1016, so I can preset that on the PFD there. The pilots, I quite like this view, just sitting there, quite happy, looking around. Why is he touching up there? Oh, fine. Fantastic. See the engine working away. Yeah, I didn't know I looked like that either. It would be quite funny actually, if I don't know if it's possible, but if you go onto the PMDG files on the computer and you find the you know the file that they use to produce the faces there. I guess it's maybe like some sort of BMP file or GPG file or whatever the file format will be, and if you could like change that and put your face onto it, that would be good fun. You could put a photo of yourself there, no? Oh, that would be so funny. How often do you do Cat 3 landings? Well, it depends mostly on the weather. You can do Cat 3 landings as well for practice. I'm sorry about the view. Yeah, you can do Cat 3 landings for practice, but otherwise you would do a Cat 3 landing when basically it's foggy. When the weather is foggy and yeah, well, there's a bit of traffic there. ADLY is LL, I think. Oh, nice! You can see the contrail. Not sure we're gonna be able to see the aircraft. You can see the label. That's why I like to display the label. Obviously it's not very realistic, but otherwise you wouldn't see anything. Oh yeah, here's the aircraft. I think that's right over Frankfurt. Wow! It's 5,000 feet below, so it doesn't show up on TCAS. and he's going away. Wow. Fantastic. That's really good. P3 are on the 737, yes, category C, and the 777 is can be category C as well for the 777 200, 200 ER, and the 200 LR as well, and the 300, 300 ER, and freighter category D. It all has to do with the speed on final approach. The 200 is fairly light on landing. The maximum landing weight on the 200 LR is about 223 tons, and for the 200 and 200 ER is even less. And so the final approach speed is relatively low. On the 300 ER, for example, it's a little bit higher. The speed at maximum landing weight on the 300 ER is 149 knots, to which you add an extra 5 knots, so it goes into the Cat D category. And K4 Bell 123. I'm rated on the 777 only, not on the 737. I used to fly the 737, but I'm now flying the 777. But as I said, obviously I've got a fair amount of flying done on the 737. Thank you, Captain Duckman. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. Sukuin. Yeah, thank you very much. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the ratings lapse. The ratings are usually valid for a year, and yeah, if you don't renew or revalidate, because there's a play on words as well. They've got the two terms, renew and revalidate. I think when it's still current, and then it's renewing, and when you let it lapse, but then you do it again, then it's revalidate, or vice versa. I mean, this is just anyway. But yeah, only flying, only working for a year. It's only valid for a year. And most companies, you go to the simulator to actually renew what they call the operator proficiency check. Every 6 months, so every 6 months you would go to the simulator to basically not renew the rating, because the rating is valid for a year, but basically renew your pilot qualification within the airline. There's a guy 1,000 feet below, about 40 miles at 10 o'clock. We're not gonna see him, because we only see actually traffic in the simulator when the traffic is within 10 miles, so we don't really see the label. If it was at night, maybe we'll see the lights, but as you could see earlier on, the aircraft is tiny when it's flying close by, so he's 40 miles out, we're not gonna see him. Favorite destinations to fly to? I quite like flying into the States, like, you know, flying to places like New York and stuff. It's quite cool. Yeah. ICAO and FAA, I think there must be the same rules, because kind of ICAO is the kind of global, you know, world organization. Is a bit like the United Nations for aviation. So ICAO will be the kind of global set of rules. FAA might have some amendments. I'm not too familiar with the FAA regulations, to tell the truth, but yeah. possibly Air France, who knows. Well, I guess it's obviously a 777 operator, because otherwise I wouldn't, you know, I couldn't say that I'm flying 777. So it obviously is a 777 operator. But after that, Mini Mafia 1413, yeah, possibly Air Austral as well, based in down in Réunion Island. Yeah, yeah, I guess it's a good office. You know, the views and stuff are, you know, the views are something you know you can't really get bored. It's always different. It's not so great to see, like, you know, a sunrise when you've been flying all night. It's not a good feeling. But if you depart early in the morning and then the sun rises, but at least you spend most of the night in your bed, it's okay. But if you spend the whole night on the aircraft and then the sun rises and it burns your eyes, it's not a great feeling. The restroom is the first class toilet, so that's the restroom. Unless you mean the kind of sleeping area, the crew rest compartment. But if you talk about restroom, like the way I think I understand it, like meaning like the toilets, then the toilets we have is just the first class toilets, which is nice. At least it's not like economy class toilet. But yeah. I think Maeve, when you fly to the States, it's good to kind of mirror what ATC and the other pilots do as well. So yeah, you can say point as well. You don't have to. It's not compulsory. I think you can read back like decimal. If they give you a frequency, you can read it back with the decimal term if you want. But yeah, when I go to the States, I like to, you know, kind of mirror what they do. So if the call sign is whatever, Bing Bong 123, you know, or like, let's say like United 123, they like to say like United 123. So when I would be like, you know, flying to the States, I would like use the call sign and then say 123 as well, instead of saying 123, which you will say like more over Europe and other parts of the world. But you will say 123, for example, and if they say like, you know, contact such and such 121.9, yeah, you can say that as well. It's not. In the States as well, they use the, you know, the appendix like heavy, or you hear the guys on the 380 as well saying like super duper. But yeah, so you'll say, I don't know, United 123 heavy, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, you would mirror. It's not compulsory to say it, but it's good to kind of do it the way in Rome, do like the Romans do, as they say. So it's good to do it. Yeah, the sleeping compartment usually has like some sort of like seats, and then 2 bunks for the pilots, and is located over the flight deck. So there's a little access door, and you climb up, and you've got the seats and then the bunks. So it's fairly comfortable. When it's the right time to sleep, it's good to you can spend the whole rest period to actually sleep. If it's, for example, you know, nighttime, or If it's like during the daytime, we can have a quick nap and then just chill out, read a book, watch the TV. The entertainment system is also available in the crew rest compartment, so you can watch the same TV programs as the passengers, which is cool. There's obviously a lot available in most airlines, so we're quite lucky that way. So yeah, it's usually quite comfortable. It's I prefer, to tell the truth, like the crew rest compartment than being a passenger even in first class. So yeah, it's because in first class, you know, it's not always 100% comfortable, and there's always a little bit of noise. You know, they do service, the cabin crew do their service sometimes, whereas when you're in the crew rest compartment, you don't hear anything, and it's just you and sometimes the other colleague, and yeah, it's just a little like haven from the rest of the aircraft and what's happening around. Wow, top of descent in 23 minutes. Wow, I didn't see time pass. The ETA is a good question, Responsark. The ETA is gonna be 11:58 Z, so yeah, around 1200 Zulu. Actually starting the descent in just over 20 minutes. Alright, let's let go to the toilet a little bit, because they're gonna pee themselves. Turbulence is not bad. Mini Mafia 1413, the worst thing that happened. Nothing really major, to tell the truth. The good thing about this job is that it needs to be boring. Whenever it's boring, it's good. You don't want too much excitement. You don't want, like, you know, out of the ordinary things happening. So the more boring it is, the better it is. But no, the worst thing, yeah, maybe like from a technical kind of aircraft point of view, just like a few minor issues with the aircraft. Nothing really major. Touch wood. And in the cabin, yeah, sick passengers and things like that, which I can totally sympathize with. Like being sick on a plane is not good fun. So, but yeah, no, nothing really major, which is good. As I said, you don't want too much excitement. Never choose the fish, yeah. It's like airplane. I was actually watching the film a few days ago, and it's there's somebody climbing there. I'm not sure if we're gonna see him. He's just on the 10-mile limit. He might show up at some point, climbing away, if he gets within the 10 miles. Yeah, it's so hilarious. That film is so funny. Yeah, if the wings had fallen off, I wouldn't be here to talk to you today, guys. Because yeah, obviously it's game over. So yeah, it's Alejandro 1. It's after the flight. It's possible, yeah. It's possible to take photos in the flight deck. I'm quite happy with that. I don't like to be taken. I don't want to be in the photo myself. But if people want to sit, you know, in the pilot seat and take photos and stuff, I'm quite happy to do that. It's not a problem to me. but I hear like recently it's becoming a bit of an issue for some countries, and I can't remember exactly where it is, but they don't want to, the authorities don't want passengers to even at the end of the flight, you know, once you're on the ground, they don't want passengers to go to the flight deck to take photos. So yeah, it's true. Like maybe the Captain Duckham, the crew wants passengers to go as quickly as possible, but I guess you can take also, like, you know, a couple of minutes. You're not gonna entertain somebody in the flight deck for like 10 minutes or something, you know. But yeah, they just come in. Hello, how are you doing? You enjoy the flight? Yeah. Show the what I call the Christmas tree. So you know, the light test. Show all the lights like this. And above all, when it's kids, you know, they'll be like, wow, cool, excellent, very, you know, they'll be really excited. Take like a quick photo and thank you very much and bye bye. You know, it takes a couple of minutes, and if it's a kid, you know, it will be like you know, an excellent memory for them to have. And even if it's sometimes, actually what's funny is sometimes when it's kids, the father is behind and is like, oh yeah, could you show my kid, you know, the flight deck? But the kid is like, you know, is not really interested and is looking all like it doesn't care. But the dad is behind and is like, you know, looking with the eyes of an eagle and looking everywhere. And you see, the dad is more excited than the kid. So it's funny that way. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Captain Duckman. I mean, some people like they take themselves too seriously. I mean, at the end of the day, taking photos, you know, of an aircraft is you're not like you're not doing any harm, you know. But yeah, as I said, it's becoming a bit of a funny world, you know, because they've got all these security concerns, they've got all these privacy things. The list is endless, and it's becoming a little bit ridiculous, you know. So they need to, you know, shake it a bit. But hey, who am I to say, you know? Yeah, the Lot 767 belly landing. Yeah, the aircraft are usually quite solid, so that will be all right. But with these low-mounted engines, you know, if you land with no gear at all, the engines are gonna kind of touch the ground first. You don't want the tail to touch first as well, because the tail might break off, you know. So you want to kind of touch obviously as low as possible. So you would kind of if it was a 777, you would try to get rid of as much fuel as you can, so that the aircraft weight is, you know, as little as possible. And yeah, just try to land like as flat as possible. But the engines are gonna like touch down first, so it's not a really good situation. And yeah, a total gear failure is actually, I would say, quite rare, because if the normal gear doesn't, the normal way to extend gear, the normal extension doesn't work, there's still like an alternate gear extension, and usually the alternate gear extension is kind of free fall, so it releases like the gear lock, and then when the gear doors open, the gear just falls and then locks into place. So it's rare, but obviously it can happen, because, you know, we had that lot 767 on the 737. That trap here is the alternate gear extension. So you lift the cover there, and then there's like, if I remember well, it's like three kind of how can I call that, like 3 strings that you pull, and that will that would release like each of the gears, so the nose wheel and then the two main gears. Oh yeah, no, in the cockpit during the flight you can't let anybody in, let alone let them at the flight controls. As you see, like that the accident with the kid at the control, that was like that was the end of it. And obviously after September 11 as well, after that nobody can come to the flight deck during the flight. But at the end of the flight, once you're on the ground, I mean, it's not like, as I said, it doesn't do any harm in my opinion. But yeah, I guess it's a good thing not to let somebody at the controls. I mean, even the cabin crew are not allowed to sit in a pilot seat. You know, cabin crew come to the flight deck, but they're not allowed to sit, like, you know, yeah, they're not allowed to sit in a pilot seat. So why would you let somebody else as well? It's ridiculous. Yeah, the cabin crew, they are allowed to sit. Depends if they are required for, you know, as their kind of safety role. If they are required to be at their like position for landing, then they have to be sitting there. On the 737, you need the 4 cabin crew to kind of be ready to, you know, in case there's a problem on landing, to evacuate and all that stuff. But on a larger aircraft, like the 777-300, if there are like 10 doors, you need 10 cabin crew at every single door. And then after that, I mean, very often there's 14-15 crew members. So as long as you've got 1 crew member for each door, the remaining can be in the flight deck. So you're not gonna have like 4 or 5 in the flight deck, but you can have 1. Yeah, it's okay. Cool. So I think it's runway 07 in Krakow, so we'll get the approach sorted out. I think it's Arnav approach actually. Go to EPKK, Arnav 07. The arrival is gonna be via okay. Patka 1 hotel, and we are transitioning via 717. Let's try this one. Let's see. Execute. So from Patka. Geez, that chart is very small. It's not the charts I usually use. That's fairly small. So Patka KK. Oh, there's no decent path. Okay, great. Patka KK 727. Then 726, fly level 100 or above. 724, 723. Ouvret 719, fly level 90 above. 718, 717, 701, 5000 or above. That is correct. And then Iksuvi 592, and then it's coded 7 miles 305 to runway 07, and then the actual final approach. Oh, here is. Yeah, so the runway and then KK 596 is correct, 4,000 feet. Straight to make that hard altitude, not 4,000 or above. Yeah. And minima, on that chart it's OCA, category C, 1320. Yeah, 1320. Okay. Drag required after KK 717. Okay. So what we'll do, which you can't do on the 777, but you can do here on the 787, is 220 knots and B for below, so 220 knots or below, and they will adjust the speed accordingly, hopefully, so that it doesn't give us the drag required message. So 1310 on the barrow. Anyway, we're almost there. 1310, that will do. And the VRF fuel 2.6 now, and zero fuel weight of 59.5, so 61.5, 62.1. So gross weight will be roughly 62 tons, which is below the max landing weight. We'll go for flap 30. So set flap 30, flap and speed, +5. And we'll go for auto brake 3. The descent will set 250 below flight level 100. And the forecast page, the transition level. Minimafia 1413, the simulations, both the 737 and the 777 are fairly good actually. The systems are really well simulated. The handling is not so great, you know, the way the aircraft handles. Above all, the 737 there, I find it's a little bit, it's different in the real aircraft. Plus, you don't really get a feel for the, you know, the aerodynamic forces and all that stuff, so it is totally different. But the systems are well simulated. It's quite good. Transition, where is that? This is the Polish AIP charts I have. Transition altitude must be, or level must be 70, I guess, or 75. Cool. And the forecast wind from the flight plan. Descent at 290. It's gonna be 147.18. It's quite useful to put the winds in the forecast page because it kind of helps the VNAV path calculation. 140 is 140 at 11. Because the VNAV on the 737 in particular is sometimes not 100% great. So if you put the winds, at least it helps the calculations, helps the computer do a better job. 099 at 12. And the KNH was 1016. Set MCP altitude. Yeah, the top of descent is coming. So down we go. Initially to flight level 100. Not really sure why we still get that no descent path after KK719. We'll see how it works out. 100. What's this? We don't need any nav radios because it's an RNAV approach, so it's all kind of a GPS approach, so it's all good. Let's see if there's any radio station, well, any nav aids nearby we can use. There's a Krakow VOR 112.8. I'm not sure if it's in the FSX database because we'll see. 112.8. maybe with the scenery. Yeah, it's actually showing the Kilo Alpha Kilo viewer. That's good. We can have that as a reference, but we're not really gonna use it. And yeah. So top of descent is just imminent. That's it. So the thrust levers come back to idle. It says retard there. We are getting insulted. But at least not like Airbus. Check pilots, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on board. Good afternoon. But it's not like Airbus that tells you retard, just before landing. So at least you're not called a retard. Just say retard here. You don't get the actual words spoken out. Now on the Airbus, from what I understand, it says retard because the thrust levers are, it's all automatic. The thrust is all automatic. It works by detents. So the pilots don't really use the thrust levers a lot. Hero Juice, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, because it's not used by the pilot, then the system kind of reminds the pilot just before landing to close the thrust levers, because you can't land with thrust on. Just before landing, the thrust levers come back to idle. So it's just a reminder, really. So that's why the Airbus says retard. That's my understanding of it. Somebody was asking me earlier on why I don't fly Airbus here on the stream. It's because I don't really know Airbus very well. But yeah. Yeah, it's French en retard, exactly. Yeah, let's see it that way instead of thinking it's a bad it's a bad word.